Fresh Bake, we're at California Adventure to catch you guys up on what's happening around the park. We're going to tour the entire park. We're going to go to every land, every attraction. We're going to look at the crowds. We're going to look at the queues. And we're going to tell you what's new. This is our State of DCA report. When we were here last month, 1st of November, they hadn't yet put up any Christmas decorations. In fact, the Halloween decorations were still up, and I believe that we shot that on the 1st or the 2nd of November. So this is going to be our first look through this lens, through the State of DCA report type conversation, to look at the Christmas decorations and the status of things here at California Adventure. Off the bat, I'm going to say it feels pretty busy. I checked the wakeboards. There's a lot of activity going on at all the attractions. Everything seems to be running at or near optimal levels, but we're going to get into that in a little bit. Hi guys. We'll get into that in a little bit with our when we look at the tip board and all that. I still do feel that definite presence of the holiday crowds here showing up on Buena Vista Street. Matter of fact, I'm having trouble right now negotiating those crowds.
Have you?
You feel that? You see me bobbing and weaving? There's something for that. Oh look, the 5 and dime are here. I was catching some of that show, the 5 and dime shows. I'm going to use that for the intro. And after the show's over, I stopped recording, and then I was taking a selfie with a fan, and all of a sudden they're gone. Poof, they're gone. There used to be a whole production. They used to do a whole thing. They get on the car, they drive the car back, and I think they still do, but in this case, they just poof. I don't even know where they are. They just vanished like those princesses at Disneyland that one night. Anyway, I don't want to get into a big, long discussion about park accessibility, as I normally do during our Disneyland reports, but I will want to say that the crowd is very busy today, but you could get a reservation. Reservations were available for today. Now, I don't know if they were like a lot of them, because I think it was a DCA only start, which suggests that there was, some degree of selling out happening. But even still, matter of fact, I'll check right now. Okay, so they're out. But that was the expectation. It's almost 2 o'clock, so I would not think that there would still be reservations available today. Probably, you can't cancel today, so any cancellations that were going to happen will have already happened. So if there's anything available today, that's just Disney. It's whatever was left. But having said that, when I left the house this morning, there were reservations. Let's get into Grizzly Peak. Merry Christmas, everybody. It's the most wonderful time of year. Let's see how wonderful things are at Soarin' Around the World. A light queue-ish. They always hide the standby. 55 minutes. When we were here last week, it was practically nothing, and this queue was almost empty. No, I forget. I take that back. No, it was about half full, but there was no lightning lane. Hey guys. But today we're looking at 55 minutes, which is that's the typical. That's what you should expect on average here at Soarin' Around the World, especially given the ish-sized queue here for lightning lane. Very often when we come by here, this thing is going out here into the walkway and turning left towards smoke jumpers. So it's not bad. Well, 55 minutes is a long wait, but as far as California Soaring goes, or I wish, Soaring Around the World, it's not bad. I'd actually love to visit that actual scene right there. Too bad the actual Grizzly Peak isn't actually quite as... it's nice. I love it. It's a very underrated land. But I would like to visit whatever place that was with the Grizzly Mountain and the river. Do a little fishing, even though I don't fish. Live in a tent. Try not to get eaten by a bear. Let's check in on Grizzly River Run. There's a giant bear in a Christmas sweater. 25 minutes standby right now. it's warm out today, actually. It's in the mid-70s. Your disposition here at the end of November is to not ride Grizzly River Run, I guess, but it's certainly warm enough. You'll dry off quickly, even if you do get wet. Pardon that brief little interlude there with Grizzly River. Sometimes I come to these attractions, like this one specifically, and I get so enamored with the aesthetic and just being here and the theming and all that I just want to soak it in. And then I'm reminded how not often do I ride this attraction. Hardly ever. It's a crime. It's a real crime. As much as I love Grizzly Peak and Grizzly River Run, you don't find me on this attraction very often. It's pretty criminal. But I do like taking this back route. We did this last month. I think that might just be my preferred way of going through here. Just being able to soak everything in. It's nice and quiet. It's a little break. It's kind of like the secret path in Critter Country. You get the sounds like this. I love the sounds of the park. Oh yeah, there's a reminder. We've got Festival Holidays. Not only is it Christmas, but it's also Festival Holidays. Liz and I did a Festival Holidays video, where we did most of what you can do here in terms of entertainment and some of the food. The food, by the way, here at Winter Sliderland, you guys, I have to tell you, it was garbage. It was not great. It was not delicious. It was not good at all. I did not enjoy it. Liz was okay with the barbecue-ish slider. I forget what it was, the beef slider or whatever, but I did not enjoy any of it. But I did enjoy that. You guys hear that? I'm gonna get a copyright for this, but that is the Toy Drummers doing August Burns Red right now. Perhaps the single greatest moment in all of Festival Holidays. If you do any one thing, it's listen to this. Best 2 minutes that you're going to have at Festival Holidays is watching, well, the Toy Drummers are great, but the final segment with August Burns Red, fantastic. It's almost time, guys, to talk about Ariel's undersea adventure and what they're doing to standby. We haven't had enough time really to process what it's doing to standby right now, the wait times, but one thing that I can observe, and this is something we talked about in our construction report the other day, they have closed they used to walk in right here for standby, well, for all guests, and you would go through, this little awning situation here, and it was, the intended way. They built this whole thing. Let me back up. Let me get this a proper viewing. This is the part where if I were a theme park attraction designer, and they said, hey, build us something magnificent, something that's, that's like Atlantean, or Atlantean, or whatever the word is. Make it look magnificent, and then we'll have the guests enter. And they're like, okay, we'll do that. And they do it, and then say, you know what, never mind. We're going to put them over here at the exit. We're going to, not even the exit. I don't even know what that is, that area over there. Nobody goes through there now. They tell you to stay away. This thing could do nothing else to the standby queue. It could do nothing else to standby wait times. That would be the thing that makes me the most crazy, the most bonkers nuts. Is that they have this magnificent building, and they got you entering back here, practically backstage. I mean, that is a backstage entrance back there. They've got you practically entering through backstage. By the way, I don't know if you can see, but that sign says 30 minutes. I'm doing my best to not lose my ish right now. Because in the grand scheme of things, 30 minutes isn't a bad deal, and it's probably, well, it's not a terrible deal. And it's probably less than that. It's probably 20. But that's a walk-on. That should be a walk-on. What they've done, what they're doing. Hey, how are you? Is that's also criminal. Me not going on Grizzly River Run is criminal. That's criminal. Golden Zephyr's running. Looks like maybe a 1 or 2 rotation queue right now, which is pretty standard for Golden Zephyr. I think it says 15 minutes on that sign right there.
And I was like 25.
Goofy Sky. Man, it has been a long minute since I've been on Goofy's too. Why don't I go on the rides anymore? I used to go on attractions every week. I would go on 2 or 3 at least. I don't know, man. 40 minutes standby. And it looks kind of stagnant. I don't see any sort of, there's a little bit of lightning lane up the ramp there. But the furthest left lane there, aisle or whatever, is lightning lane. There's about maybe 15 guests in that queue. Look at over here, they've got in the spillover out here in the garden, in the chicken farm. A lot of guests out here. I'm not getting in this queue. There's no way. I don't know if it's ever going to get better, but I don't want to. That does not look pleasant at all. And that's something that is the case for a lot of DCA attractions. It really does illustrate the value of a pleasant queue to be in. The queue design is a major factor in guests' enjoyment and their experience at Disneyland. It's something that Disneyland's always been very good at, the Disney parks everywhere. But when it doesn't work, it's just, man, it's like being at Magic Mountain. I don't know why I came in here. I guess I wanted to feel some of this vibe in here, the Viva Navidad vibe. It is kind of crowded, actually. I am feeling a lot of folks in here. Paradise Garden Grill. It is about 2 o'clock as I record this, I think. Let me check. Yes, it's 2:07. So we should be seeing a lull in quick service. Oh, look, it's Goofy. Hi, Goofy. Thank you, man. Oh, you just gave me a Big Hero 6, a Baymax. La 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 la. That's a pretty longish line for Paradise Garden Grill, actually. But as always, I would highly recommend you skip that and get yourself a mobile order. I should do a video on not just how to use mobile order, because it's not the most complex, but just the benefits of why. Why? Because I feel like there's a lot of resistance still on using the app in general. I believe that because I just looking around at standby queues versus how easy it is to make a mobile order, and I have to conclude that people are just resisting. I don't mind resisting. I'm a resistor. You know what I mean? I'm definitely a resistor. I resist Genie Plus and Lightning Lane, and I resist a lot the After Dark events. I resist a lot of those, or I used to. But I'm a definite adapter on mobile order. In just a few minutes, Viva Navidad will be marching through those gates, but we'll skip that. Oh, I got to check on. Oh, they're going to want to keep me out of the way because the show's going to happen 10 minutes for the Silly Symphony swings, which I see maybe just 2 rotations there. So that's probably about right. You got a group up there ready to go, and then you got maybe another, probably 2 rotations there. If you see it queuing up down there at the bottom, then it's because basically that's how you measure that one. It's just how many rotations. It takes about 7 or 8 minutes to do the whole cycle. Emotional Whirlwind. You guys have probably heard they're going to make Inside Out 2, which means they're going to make another Inside Out attraction. They're going to copy this one and then just put it right there. They're going to make 2 of them and then put the other characters that are coming up in the new film and put that right there. Everything I just said is not true. I just made all that up. 15 minutes. This is the same queue we see every single time. Are you kidding me? It's literally the same queue every single time. And that's kind of not a fun one to sit in either. I've waited in this whole thing over here before. That's a grind. That is a grind. Pixar Pal Around says 30 minutes for non-swinging and 45 for swinging. I think I would like to object to that. That's a longish queue. This is not swinging. Don't like seeing it this far out. That's a long, slow, arduous, unpleasant wait. And I think it is longer than 30 minutes. If that's 45, that's probably actually a quick 45. I've seen worse. You know, I was remembering that part of our show, these state of reports, Disneyland DCA, is, you know, we talk about what's new in the parks, you know, what's new and newsworthy. I was like, there ain't nothing happening at DCA related-wise, news-wise. There's nothing really going on. The only things that are happening in the news right now is that you've got guys on drugs taking their clothes off at Small World, and which was very unfortunate looking. I'm sure everybody was looking for me to respond or do something on social, at least for that, but I just couldn't. I'll just say this here. I chose not to, simply because just that poor guy, that poor kid. I know he was, you know, touching those animatronics is like a crime, but he was clearly not himself, be that, you know, either medically induced or maybe there's some sort of imbalance there, but I don't feel like that's something that should be going around social media and people should be passing around and joking and making fun of this kid. I mean, there's a real chance that could devastate him for the rest of his life. I mean, or I don't know, maybe kids today, they don't care. I don't know, but that's right. If that were me, I would definitely not want to be posterized the way he was. And then the other news is Wish dying at the box office, but that's not really a conversation for this video as well. But I do want to say, I am going to talk about Wish in a news video coming up this week on our sister channel, Fresh Bake Presents. Because I have some definite thoughts on that. I have opinions as to why it happened, because this is different than other, you know, situations that have occurred for other films. Wish is a very unique situation that requires analysis, and my theory, I think, is going to be something that not enough people are talking about, and it's kind of scary actually. So stay tuned for that. If you don't already follow us on Fresh Bake Presents, please do so. That's where we do a lot of our well, we've been doing our, you know, our talking head type videos on that channel. So check that out.
How can I make it any plainer? So come on, crowd, step right up, make some noise. Time to play along with all the noise. You know your life will never be one mania when you play Midway Mania.
As for Toy Story Midway Mania, posted standby says 55 minutes. Looks to be about accurate. If I were to sit here and clock this, I think that would be very close to what will happen. There's your standby queue. Most of it is inside the structure in there with the switchbacks inside. Not too full, you know, you're not seeing it out here. If it were, that would be very dangerous. And then the lightning lane queue is about what you'd expect when you're looking at a 55-minute wait for standby, which means it's big, but it's not super big. It's not poking out. Very often you will see lightning lanes stick out all the way out here in front of the attraction entrance. So, like the other attractions that we've seen so far, everything is just about, and this is what I said at the outset too, everything looked to be about what you might expect for a typical busy-ish DCA day during the holiday season so far. As a matter of fact, we're gonna, you know, I just noticed as we approach Incredicoaster, and I was shooting some B-roll over here, I just noticed I haven't heard an Incredicoaster car go by. I have heard no noise. There's no sound of Incredicoaster, so I'm going to assume that it's closed. That would be our second attraction, I think, closed today. As a matter of fact, after we check in on Jesse's, which is very clearly always a walk-on, we'll check in on Jesse's and report on the definite closure of an Incredicoaster. That sucker is down. I was trying to say that this is our second closure, but the other one was Radiator Springs Races, which we haven't gotten to yet. But I know that it was closed when I got here. I was trying to do some recon. I'm trying to pick up on the recon. We're 7 rides in on a 30-day or a 30-ride recon session, but it was closed. It's been closed for a couple hours. So, but it just reopened. So by the time we get over there today, it will have reopened. But it's time, I think, to go check out the tip board. I think it's time to get a tasty beverage and check out the tip board. Right after that is we soak in a little bit of the aesthetic here of the Pixar Pier, which, in spite of the fact that Incredicoaster isn't running, which changes the dynamic here incredibly. Incredibly. It changes it a lot. The sound of the coasters and the audio and all that. But it's still pretty to look at, isn't it? But you miss all that movement up there on the tracks, especially when, where we do the tip board, where we're heading. Now it's going to be just a little bit less. A little bit less. I'm going to have to use some archive B-roll for the background when I do that tip board, so that I don't make people sad because there's no Incredicoaster in the background. Looking for a ride. Let's see. It always takes us a minute to... Okay, Golden Zephyr. 15 minutes, standard. Goopy Sky School. Available now. That's mysterious. Return time of 4:05 for Genie Plus. I'm going to go ahead and assume it's still 45 minutes. I'm not sure why they're not reporting a standby time there. Grizzly River Run is at 30 with a return time of now. Not too bad. Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, 55-minute standby, return time of just 2 hours from now. I would have expected that to be higher considering how busy it is today. Well, the crowd size anyway. But the 55-minute standby is pretty typical. When I say busy, I just mean busy like it should be. It's not excessively so. Emotional Whirlwind, 20 minutes. Jesse's is 5. We just saw that. Jumpin' Jellyfish, 5, of course. Ariel's Undersea. There's another one. Is this site broken? I just took a peek at the queue over there for Little Mermaid, and there's hardly anybody in the standby queue right now, but it is open. So it may have just reopened after a closure, perhaps. Luigi's Rollicking Roadsters and/or Joy to the World, 30 minutes. We'll be stopping by there in a little bit. Same for Mater's at 40, standard. Mickey's, well, actually, that's kind of high for Mater's, even on a busy day. 35 minutes. Shocked, I tell you, shocked. There's a return time of now, and the standby, well, that's why the standby is 35, is because there's not a whole lot of lightning lane going on there. That's going to require further investigation, but that's kind of shocking. Pixar Pal Around, 20 minutes for swinging. Why are they not reporting the non-swinging? And by the way, 20 minutes, weren't we just there? It said 45. Is this planet Earth? Is this real life? There again, something's wrong with the tip board, man. Radiator Springs Racers is open, apparently, with a return time of now for individual lightning lane, but no standby wait time. It may have just reopened recently also. And then Redwood Creek, Silly Symphony Walk-On, Soarin' at 50. I mean, this is nothing major. Toy Story Midway Mania, 45, 2.5 hours. And Web Slingers, an hour. An hour and 2.5 hours return time. Wow. Analysis. Some goopy stuff is going on, but overall, standard-ish, busy day. But I am curious. I'm super curious to know what's going on with Monsters. That's going to be the last attraction that we check in on today. Normally it's first, but reverse course like we did last month. Let's look at this right here at Little Mermaid. When we walked by here earlier, the queue was very beefy, very full. So clearly, this is recovering from a shutdown, which means we've had 3 breakdowns, right? We got Radiator Springs Racers, there was no report time, Goopy Sky School, and Little Mermaid. All of that happened in what, an hour and a half or so? Because it wasn't that long ago that we walked by Goopy Sky School. And they're posting 5 minutes here, but clearly it's nothing. It's a walk-on right now. People are confused. They don't know where the actual entrance is to Little Mermaid. How unfortunate that not only are they going to screw up the standby wait time, but they're confusing their guests in the process. They bill services like Genie Plus as these great big, the guest experiences to make it more efficient, better for your enjoyment. I mean, it's literally the opposite. It's quite literally making it worse. I'm going to shut up. Figured while we're at it, I'd check back in at Goopy Sky School, and it's still showing 40, and the guests are still out here in the garden, so I don't think this was a breakdown. I think this is a breakdown of the actual Genie Plus software, that it's just, it wasn't collecting the data or something to that effect. And I suppose I suppose it's possible, because Little Mermaid is not the type of attraction that breaks down. That's a pretty reliable attraction. It's possible that they just cleared that queue. Although, like I said, I mean, look, you can see the people here. You can see the crowds. It's not empty. So I would find it difficult to believe that they could completely clear a 30-minute Little Mermaid queue. Well, I guess they could, actually. You know what? Little Mermaid is one of those attractions that is so efficient that it is possible, I think, for them to clear an entire queue like this that would have been, you know, that was 30 minutes, less than an hour ago. You could clear that so fast, actually. Assuming, though, I mean, I guess my assumption is that there would still be an influx of guests coming in. But if there's an appreciable slowdown, you could clear that. But what were they doing if they weren't going to Little Mermaid, huh? I love park science. Park science is like my favorite thing in the world. I love it. I love thinking about things like that and trying to figure it out. And a lot of times there's nothing to figure out. It's just whimsy. But anyway, I like to do it anyway. It's like doing that math, the quantum physics and stuff like that. I don't know what purpose it serves humanity, but I'm sure they have a hell of a time doing it. This is quickly becoming my favorite land reveal, even though it's not even a land. It's a it's a food court, but it's like my favorite reveal, favorite way to get into just about anything. You can hear the toy drummers back there. Feels very busy. Look at that. God, I've got to get on this mobile order thing. I've got to find a way to get the message out there. Because that's just too many people in standby right there, you guys. That's too many. We talked about this in a recent video, our Christmas video that we did from San Francisco, and I was wondering, I'm going to check the mobile order board right now to find out what the return time is for Cocina. Compare that to what is most likely a 30-minute wait right now, at least 30 minutes to get your food. 30 minutes. The next window is 30 minutes from now. Which is, I mean, why would you not? Right? Why would you not do that? Even if it's not now, it's the same time you'd wait in the standby queue. But instead of spending all that 30 minutes in there, you could go shopping at the market. Let's go shopping at the market. I mean, that's something you could be doing right now instead of... That's the whole point. Disney built FastPass and they built mobile order for that exact purpose, so that you could wait virtually. And while you're waiting, you could go spend your money somewhere else as well. I wonder how merch is doing here. Every time I come in here, I see a lot of browsing, but very rarely are they actually buying, although Baymax is a very viable IP. I want to own Baymax stuff, like everything that's Baymax. I don't want to own this thing. I don't want to own that. But I do want to own this thing right here. I want to own one of these for $45, you guys. Kids t-shirt. What? I don't like those. What? I don't understand those at all. Okay, I gotta get out of here. We gotta finish our show. Where are we going? We're going to Cars Land. Hi. There's Baymax right there. Oh, la 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 la. That's the great thing about this character meet and greet, is that they don't have to try very hard to make him look just like he would in reality. Like, even though it's just an inflatable suit, that's how he looks in the movie. You know, slam dunk. Although he doesn't move quite as well as the animated character does. La 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 la. Wait times for Baymax these days. This looks like about 15-20 minutes. Not too bad. Let's go to Radiator Springs, where I'm hoping to hear the sound of some cars racing. I had lunch there earlier, by the way. Lowe's VA Cafe. Before I started this show, I had lunch. Hi, how are you? People complain about the prices of things at Disneyland, and they are expensive. But I got the low and slow club sandwich, I think it's called. $12. I think it's a full sandwich. Sandwich and fries and a pickle. $12. Well, actually $11 with my discount. That's pretty good. I am satisfied with that. So much so that I felt like putting it on Twitter, but I don't know if I ever did or not. By the time you see this, but you could go to Panera and spend more than that for just the sandwich. Not that I'm saying this is a Panera quality sandwich, although I don't eat Panera, so maybe I wouldn't know, but I don't go there because I feel like they're overpriced. Let's go check in on Radiator Springs Racers. Well, it was posted at nothing on the tip board, but the on-site board says 70 minutes. Holy heck. There it is. Actually, I've run into queues like this in my recon sessions where the standby runs all the way back here like that. But that's going to be close to 70 minutes. That's actually, well, it depends on Lightning Lane. This outside, that's single rider right here. That is not a good look for single rider. I mean, it's still better than standby, but that is that's long also. That single rider queue out this far is probably going to be at least 30 or 40 minutes. There's Lightning Lane, and that, oh god, that stops at the bridge too. Oh no. That arrangement of the standby queue, the Lightning Lane queue, and the single rider queue are all indicators of reasons why you don't want to get into an attraction, especially one of the stature of Radiator Springs Racers or like Rise or Space Mountain. You don't want to get into one of those queues. You want to get into them right after a breakdown, but not 20 minutes or 30 minutes after a breakdown. People have already reacted at that point, and it's too late. As a matter of fact, you get the rush, so it's actually fatter, it's bigger, it's longer than it normally would be, or could be, because everybody comes in all at once, and you get this collection of folks. We witnessed that at Small World. No, it was the parade, post-parade. Get there right after the parade, or as the parade's happening. If you get to Small World after the Christmas Fantasy Parade has ended, or has already reached Small World, it's too late. We waited, it was 10 minutes, and then 5 minutes later, it was 45 minutes. Check in on Mater's Junkyard Jamboree. While we're in the neighborhood, that says 10 minutes. And yeah, no, that's it. There's the queue right there. The whole queue. They don't even use the switchbacks back there. That's it. What is going on? Is this the holiday season or not? This is the part of the process that kind of baffles me a little bit sometimes, is that I can feel the people here. I can feel, you know, the intensity and the denseness of the crowds. And then you go to an attraction like Mater's where it's 10 minutes. And it's practically a walk-on. Where we saw that at Little Mermaid. I mean, that should be a walk-on anyway. But there's not enough. Like, where are the oh my god, that's way too long queues? Except for except for the usual suspects like Radiator Springs Racers and Soarin'. Baffling. Let's check out Luigi's. Let's see if that is on the high side or the low side. I'm going to guess high side. It says 30 minutes on the board. And that's the back of the queue right there. So 30, it's actually neither. Well, I would say high side. If anything, it is high side, yeah. Luigi's is rough. Because we had this conversation last week, as a matter of fact. Just the amount of time that it takes to cycle the guests. So you do a lot of just standing there. Although it looks like they're not using one of the switchbacks back there. They're using just the outer one. They're not using the inner switchback. That's telling. That's something that that's worth noting when you come to check out the attraction. I like to do, put the eye test on most attractions that I go to and see how much of the queue they're using. And I don't know if you can see that. This camera doesn't have a very good zoom. It loses quality quickly. But they're just making the L, and that's it, just the L. But there are 3 or 4 switchbacks inside of that get used often when the crowd gets backed up. So that 30 is actually probably less than 30, in my opinion. I come to Avengers Campus these days, and I can't help but What's up? I can't help but to speculate in my mind, like, is Marvel in trouble? Like, what are you excited about right now in the upcoming slate of Marvel movies? What gets you going? Deadpool 3? That's like maybe the newest Winter Soldier, perhaps. But is anybody excited about the Kang Dynasty? I'm sure some people are, like the real diehards. But just in general, like Endgame and Infinity War and all that, they pulled in everybody. They got everybody on that. They're not even going to get close to everybody on Kang Dynasty. There was a rumor going around that they might do Doctor Doom instead of Kang. I don't think that's going to happen because I think they just named a director. I think they're trying to get Sam Raimi to direct Kang Dynasty. So I think they're going to go full steam ahead on that. In the meantime, we'll check in on Spidey. It was 60 minutes when we checked on the standby on the tip board about 45 minutes ago. It is now 45 minutes. So that wait has gone down as well. And actually, this is the first time. I always like to go into this queue a little bit to get a sense of, you know, how crowded it is in here. And it's never out here. This is the first time I've seen it out here since we started doing this. And it's very dense back there, my goodness. We can't really see what's going on the other side of the walls there. But this is all of that 45 for sure. This is not going to be a light 45. It's going to be, you know, like a European dark beer 45. It's a heavy 45. Not a lot of people though in Lightning Lane, so that's helpful. Like, if you're a Marvel fan, are you still trying to buy Iron Man gear even though he's not in the movies anymore? Are you still trying to buy Captain America, Hulk? Is that? I mean, I guess so, right? I guess so. That kind of stuff is always big. I'm going to walk through the Avengers Vault real quick. First time I've been in here since it opened. I want to see if it's anything like it was before. Very busy in here. But yeah, it's not bad. This is pretty busy. And they do have some really cool stuff in here, I have to say. Some of this merch got me really excited when I was doing a walk through here before. Yeah, this stuff right here. These are the things that had me really curious. The Reality Stone, I don't know what you call them, holders. Not the gauntlet itself, but that's pretty cool too. Look at the size of this thing. And I bet you could probably, I think you can wear that, yeah. Loki's scepter. It's pretty awesome. Tesseract, Eye of Agamotto. I mean, that's pretty badass, right? So just a brief look at that. That was, you know, encouraging. I like to see that. People are still going there doing some shopping, so maybe Marvel's got some life left. But like I said, the movies, though, aren't really, because they're bringing in new characters. What's selling in there, it's like Darth Vader and C-3PO and R2-D2. They can sell the classics, but they're having a hard time selling the stuff that's replacing the classics. How do you keep going? How do you make another Iron Man movie? You know what I mean? Like, you know, you want to like bring in new characters and new stories to keep the thing going, but if people aren't excited about it, what do you do? What do you do if people don't get excited? You have to, you know, that's why you have to make an Obi-Wan series on Disney Plus, and you know, and bring back C-3PO in every single Star Wars movie that's ever been made. You know, I mean, it's too bad we can't get more Darth Vader, but that's what people are, you know, Galaxy's Edge. It didn't really hit because they were trying to make it about Rey instead about Darth Vader. Anyway, here we are, Mission Breakout. Standby says 45 minutes, and that is a healthy sized queue for Lightning Lane. So those standby guests are going to feel that for a little while. But if I were looking at the tip board and I saw 45 minutes, I'd be encouraged by that. But I would also hedge that by saying, come put your eyes on it. Always look at the actual queue before you make your final decision and make an assessment. Because that 45 looks inviting, but with the size of that Lightning Lane queue, you know, that could change how it looks. People might react to that and say, that's a queue I want to get in, and it starts to create more depth in the standby queue. But this actually is not that bad. You know, it's often out here and into those spaces up there. You know, I've been in those whole queue before. So 45 minutes posted plus that, in spite of the Lightning Lane queue that we just saw. That's something I'd get into for Mission Breakout. That's a go, I think. It's a mid-go. Wow, are we almost done? All I'm saying is, Iron Man's cool. Hulk is cool. Captain America is cool. A lot of those characters, a lot of those original Avengers are cool. I don't know how excited I am about, you know, like the Eternals. I don't know, man. Skrulls from Secret Invasion. I didn't even watch that show. Now, I'm a middling Marvel guy. I'm not like the super fan, but I'm also not, you know, a complete noob either. I'm in the middle. I'm still trying to watch Loki, season 2. Even though I love Loki, I think he's a great character. You know, before we get into Monsters, Inc., every now and then I like to remind people here that the food at the catering truck right here is actually usually really good. It's been surprisingly, I've been surprisingly pleased by the variety of types of foods that you can get at that catering. The menu changes frequently, so it depends on timing, but it's often very good. Just throwing that out there. Here's Monsters, Inc., and it says, is that a 3-0? I think that's a 3-0. Yes, that is a 3-0. It was a 2-0 when we checked the tip board earlier. Okay, what's going on? I'm still walking. What's going on? You guys, what's going on? Like only half the queue is being used. I'm actually all the way into the queue right now. I don't think I've ever done this. I've always just given up before I even got close. On most days, it's all the way down there. Posted 30. You know, one of these days I'm gonna have to measure how long each of these planters is to go, you know, around each planter. But if you've got 1, 2, 3 planters, and you got to figure it's probably 10 minutes inside the building, so that's 20 minutes out here. If it's truly a 30-minute queue, that's 7 minutes per planter. That seems light. I think it's actually quicker than 7 minutes. I would guess, and again, this is how the recon brain works, I would guess that's closer to 5 or 6 minutes per planter. I don't want to sit around and measure that right now, because after we're done with this show, I'm going to go do some Rise of the Resistance recon. But that's my guess. It's 5 or 6 minutes per planter. There's 3, so that's 15 to 18 minutes plus 10 inside. 10 seems high, actually. I feel like you can get the inside of that building done in less than 10 minutes, because you're already past the mix point. So you're not competing with light and lane up there. You're competing with light and lane outside in the planters. Does that math? You guys picking up what I'm putting down there? Still waiting for a wrecking ball. Stage 17. You know, while they're at it, they can take that wrecking ball to that building over there and to this building right here. Just level this whole thing. 23, 17, and I forget what the hell number that one is. Let's go look. 12. So get rid of 12, 17, and 23. The whole concept of the back lot is just awful, in my opinion. Let's end on a high note. Let's walk it out of here, guys. Down Hollywood Boulevard and Buena Vista Street to conclude our State of DCA report. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to go into the Sorcerer's Workshop real quick. I was going to go into Sorcerer's Workshop, but I have found something that I have never seen in the history of my life. That's a queue to get into the Sorcerer's Workshop, aka Beast Library, which is closing. That's a queue. There has never in my life been a queue to get into the Sorcerer's Workshop. Beast Library doesn't close until December 10th, so I've got time to take a last tour. I might have to rope drop. Can you imagine? You guys, I'm actually just now contemplating, because I want to do a nice, you know, thorough, sort of loving tour of the space, and I feel like I can only do that if I rope drop it. I'm going to rope drop Sorcerer's Workshop. That's sick. So analysis, as we make our final trip down Hollywood Boulevard. Busy. I mean, that looks busy, right? But not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Kind of pleasant, almost. There were a few attractions out there that were in the 45 to 60 range, but you should expect that, especially with Lightning Lane. But, I mean, everything was mostly doable. I mean, even the longer ones, I'm like, nothing was excessive. Nothing said, oh no. Oh no, no, no. It's pleasant for the holidays. And so on that note, let me thank you very, very much for joining us today on this State of DCA report. I hope you guys enjoyed. It's been a lovely afternoon, a lovely day. It makes me happy doing these reports, and I'm glad to bring them to you guys, and hope you enjoyed. Follow us on Instagram @_FreshBake, on Twitter @FreshBakeDisney, that's fresh with no E, and on TikTok @FreshBakeDisney. If you like our show and want to show you support, please do consider joining our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/FreshBake. And also join us on FreshBake Presents, where we're doing news and opinion. And on Theme Park POV Pros, where we're doing acoustic stuff. Join us there. And that's it. Thanks, guys. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. FreshBake.